Hi everybody, welcome to this C8Inspect video presentation. My name is Dirk Leroy and I'm with Ucamco in Ghent, Belgium. As some of you may know, we have recently released Integr8tor version 2019.07, and the main feature in this release is an item called C8Inspect. Now, for those of you who have not had the time yet to read the version release notes and to learn more about this C8Inspect, I thought that as a first item in this video presentation, it might be an idea just to briefly and quickly talk you through what it is that C8Inspect will help you do and where it can come in handy. C8Inspect basically is a cloud service offered by us, Ucamco. And this cloud service really provides a web-based platform for dynamically viewing PCB manufacturing data. Now, as it does, we hope that it will facilitate presenting the blueprint of the PCB to the end user, be it the designer or the broker or the EMS company or anybody else who is involved in this project. And in order to make life easy on you as a PCB manufacturer in the first place, we have provided a direct link between this Integr8tor version 2019.07 and this new application C8Inspect. And to make things even better, all of this comes free of charge for our integrator maintenance customers. Now, what is the context for this product? What is the context for this C8Inspect? Well, you as a PCB manufacturer often provide printed images of the individual layers in a PCB to the end user, either as a courtesy or to serve as a kind of blueprint for the PCB that you will be making later on. Now, this courtesy is one possibility. In other cases, the layer images are basically a demand from your, or could be a demand from your customer, from the end user, and you are requested to make this available as part of the purchase contract. Now, as you probably all know, Integr8tor does feature the option currently to output layer images of every layer in the PCB. But the thing with that is that these images are static and they may not always offer the required level of detail for your customer or to your customer, so for the end user. And that's where C8Inspect comes in, because what C8Inspect offers is basically an alternative for these static images, PDF or others. And this alternative is actually dynamically viewable data in a cloud application with a viewer and a number of tools that we will come to later on in this presentation. And as we said earlier, with a direct link into Integr8tor release 2019.07, so that it becomes really easy to upload data sets and manage the job contacts for you as a PCB manufacturer. So to handle and manage all of this to and fro with your customer. As one of the definite benefits of this C8Inspect product, there's really no special software installation required for this whole thing. All it takes is basically a simple browser and secure account information. And once that is there, basically you're set to go. The product actually is characterized by easy data access. On the part of the manufacturer, you have this link from your Integr8tor Cockpit, which will help you do whatever it is that you need to do. And for the other side, for your end user, your customer, he will be accessing this data via emails containing a link that will take him directly and automatically to where he needs to be. So in other words, having this or as the only requirement for your infrastructure, it basically means that you have access to this PCB manufacturing data through any browser-enabled device, be it from the desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or if you had a mobile phone with a big enough screen, you would also be viewing this from your mobile phone, for instance. Now, when you do this, when you get onto this C8Inspect platform and you look at the job, what you will find there, or more importantly, what your customers will find there, the designers and others, is that they will have full job stack up with multiple layer display capabilities. So rather than these one by one static images, which are not related to each other in the way that you present them to your customer today, they will now see a completely different view on things, as they will have different layers stacked on top of each other with the possibilities to visualize one more and that sort of fancy stuff. The layer display mechanism is very easy to use and intuitive. The service or the application, the cloud application, offers zooming and panning possibilities on any area of any layer that has been included in the board. It offers different ways to look at this data. You can look at a filled image like you would see here, so the copper fill, or you could look at it in skeleton, or it might be outlined. And to make things even better, there is a measuring tool and a built-in query function. So your end user will be able to, once he zoomed in on an area, to establish what this small clearance is over there, or what the width of this piece of copper that he sees there, what the width of that, what that is. He can do so in either millimeter or mils, just like we have these units set up in Integr8tor itself. Now, apart from this, so that's basically the main purpose. You as a PCB manufacturer want to give access to your customer to make sure that he sees what he previously sent you in this archive with a number of Gerber files. That is, as we said, the main purpose of the product. But on top of that, C8Inspect also allows to view and to include these so-called QED PDF documents, which are generated in the course of an Integr8tor analysis. Now, as we will see later on in this video, you either upload your standard QED PDF report that you always generate on your Integr8tor, or alternatively, you set up or you define an extra report or two extra reports with only that part of the Integr8tor analysis information that you think is relevant for your customers, and you tell Integr8tor only to upload these reports instead of the full QED PDF ones. I think that's it for the boring stuff. The presentation. What I would like to do next is maybe show you around, first of all, how this presents itself from within Cockpit, and more importantly also what needs to be done to get going. Now, what we have here is a pre-release of the Integr8tor 2019.07 version, and what you might see here is that basically in this row of columns, an extra column has been added called C8. And similarly, there is an extra button here at the bottom or in the middle where the area or in the area where the two UCAM and other functions are. There is this new button called to C8. And C8 in this context, both for the column here and the button down here, is short for C8Inspect. So really those are the two visible aspects within Cockpit that relate to this new C8Inspect platform. Now, once you have installed the software and your new version of Cockpit has started up, what you will do is you will be tempted, of course, to click on this. And because you haven't done any configuration yet, what you will see is that for the moment, there is nothing to be done yet. We first need to do some settings in preferences. And when I click on the Configure Now button, the configuration part, so the preferences menu will be start up automatically, and I will be taken immediately to the right area. You see here that in the left-hand pane, where you recognize all of the previous sections and tabs, there is now a new one called C8Inspect. And just to make it clear, the C8Inspect tab will always be visible. It doesn't require any admin privileges to get access or to gain access to it. Also, as a regular user of Integr8tor, you will be granted access so that you can set up your own accounts and do your own definitions without any special requirements from your administrator. Now, once you're here, the basic question is, do you or do you not have a valid C8Inspect account yet? If you have a valid and a registered account, you can fill out the account information in this area. In case, like me for this presentation, in case you don't have a C8Inspect account yet, what you do is you go via the Register Now button. And that Register Now button will take you to https://c8inspect.ucamco.com, where you will be presented with a registration form. So all of this goes really without any intervention of us, UCamco. There is no red tape involved. There is no emails. You don't need to get license updates or blah, blah, blah. It's just you yourself going onto this website and making sure that you have a valid account for the C8Inspect platform. Now, the valid account is really fairly simple. You're asked for your email address. I will do this with my company email address, dirk.leroy@ucamco.com. The region is basically we run this service, this C8Inspect cloud service. We run it on Microsoft Azure, and we have servers in Europe and USA. So depending on where you are located, where your facility is located, European customers will probably tick the European box like I do now, whereas our American customers might tick the USA variant, and that will make sure that the data uploaded into the cloud or onto the platform is on a server in the US. So for me, it was Europe. I am then asked to enter my company name. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration and to make it a bit clearer later on, I will not use UCamco. I will use something which will suggest that I am a PCB manufacturer. So I will be working for this presentation at PCB Fab Limited, for instance. The name here is my full name, Dirk Leroy. And then I'm asked for a password, and the password has some syntactical requirements. If you type in just like the regular 1, 2, 3, like we always do, you get this warning that it must be at least 8 characters long, 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase, 1 number, and 1 other character. So bearing this in mind, I go back to the password field, and I try with this one. I repeat, hopefully the same in here. And when I click register, there is this little box sliding up from the bottom that says your registration is complete. You will receive an email to confirm your account. And really, that is the first step of the registration procedure. I can now close this one and leave this page. Let's leave this page. And if all goes well, I should now have received, indeed, an email in my inbox. Well, not in my inbox, because I set up a rule for the inbox that incoming emails from a particular email address will be diverted automatically into a subfolder called C8Inspect. So the new mail has been diverted from the inbox directly straight into my C8Inspect. And if I double click on the email, it will say, welcome to C8Inspect. Thank you for signing up. Please click the link below to complete your registration, which is what I will do. I confirm my account by clicking on this link here. I get onto the same website, basically, where I was before. And now I have the confirmation that my account has been accepted and is okay for further use. So if I click away this box, I could be entering my credentials here, which would then take me to the C8Inspect platform. But at this stage, it is more important that once I have a registered account, it is more important that I go back to my integrator, this one we can dispose of, that I go back to my integrator preferences, and that I now enter my account information that I have just made at ucamco.com. in these fields, and to make sure that I haven't made any typing errors or mistakes, I can press the check connection button, which will try and establish a connection to the C8Inspect server. And apparently this is okay. So that means that I'm sure that the login name and the password that I have entered is okay here, and that I'm basically all set for starting to use this, this service. Once we have this in here, we do the save. And maybe while we are here, during the presentation, the PowerPoint, you may remember that we spoke about the ability to upload PDF documents along with the PCB data, the PCB manufacturing data. So what you could do is you could go to the section QED report files, the PDF, and define an extra PDF report. If you think that it's not a good idea to upload the full QED PDF for your customer, which is what I have done here. So I pre-manufactured one where I have my default here, which is doing the whole shebang. But then I have defined a second QED PDF report here, which I have called C8Inspect, with a particular file name for the output, with a text box to be available in Cockpit, and a new column here at the end where it says this is a report that needs to go onto the C8Inspect platform. So for every report that you have in here where you have this box ticked, that will be a report that will go onto the C8Inspect platform along with the rest of the manufacturing data. Down here, but this is not the purpose that I talk you through. I'm sure that you are familiar with this. Down here, you have the items that you want to be contained in this new report. So for my C8Inspect special report, I said that I want to display in that report, I want to see, or I want my customer to see the job view, the stack up, the PCB single image dimensions, the summary with the minimum track gap, and so on, the summary copper layers, and the detailed images. And on top of that, I have also ticked this box here where we append the layer images at the end of the QED, so that really in the PDF that you will be uploading to C8Inspect, you will have the analysis information or the basic analysis information that you want to share with your customer. And you will also have these static layer images as you were sending before, in case the customer requires them in the context of the purchase contract. So once that is set up, that's good. We do save here as well. Let me double check. Let me just double check. I was okay here. Everything was there. I did a save. Okay, then we close. We get out here. And really, on the integrator side, this is what it takes to get going. Yeah. Let's see what this does for us. I will take this little job here, which I have processed beforehand. At the end of this processing, I have now also my C8Inspect report, as you can see. Yeah. So it has the PCB single view, the stack up as I asked for, the dimensions, the summary general, and then here the copper layer minima. And then further on, we would come to the detailed images. And at the very end, if I go down, 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 we will be having these layer images appended to the end of the report. So that's all there. For every new job that I have processed with this new report active, I will be obtaining such a report. And then really, to get all of this information, so the data representing the PCB as well as the PDF that we were just looking at, all it takes is I go to my to C8 button. Yeah. And this new menu comes out, a menu where at the top here we have a filter, and then at the lower part in here we have something where later on we will be seeing contacts. Contacts are basically people that I can or want to share this data with. Yeah. For this single test, or for this part of the presentation, I'm going to do without any contacts. We will do this in a separate small video presentation that will be available on the same web page where you have found this first one. So to finish off this presentation, what I will do is just click the upload from here without any contact information for this job. And really what that has done, it has taken this particular circuit, the DPF, the job data for this, and it has uploaded this information into this C8Inspect cloud service. Now, as I have done so, you may have seen that the small icon here at the first column has changed from a gray icon to something which has now become more visible, red and gray. And what happens now is if I would click on this item, so the fact that it becomes visible here means that this is a job that has been made available on C8Inspect platform. And once it has been made available there, I, as a PCB manufacturer, can simply click on this icon. This will take me to the same website. Of course, because my credentials are stored in my cockpit, the system is able to automatically log me on, and it will take me to really the job data that I have clicked on. So the ID in my Integr8tor job queue, the one that I clicked on and that I have uploaded previously, that is basically the data which I'm now viewing in this application in a web browser on the C8Inspect platform. Just to give you a brief introduction to these functions, this is the layer stackup on your left. The only thing that I can do now is put my first layer in red, and once I click on this one, I could move to another layer and put it in a second color, yeah, so that I can see 2 layers at the same time. I can move to the next one and I see 3 layers at the same time, and I move here and I make a blue one, and that would be the drill layer, as you can see. So this is now the drill layer along with 3 other layers made visible. To make them disappear again, just go to the same layer again. There is no right clicking or anything that I'm doing with the keyboard for the moment. It's just popping up from under the small hand. People who have worked with our Gerber, the reference Gerber viewer before, will recognize this layout, and we will probably also find their way around. It's really very easy. There is basically nothing that can go wrong. Just go with these layers and assign colors to them, and in here you will find some options to do mil or millimeter, to have different views. So the filled view, the skeleton view, or the outline view. You have functions here to zoom. This is the pan that you will recognize by its by the icons. Zoom out and total view. So really the usual stuff, a pan function to let you travel around the board, with some measure functions, measure between points and measure between objects. So if you would have this layer in red again, and I would make a filled image, what I could be doing is say I want to actually measure from this object to this object, and I would then be getting a clearance of 1.27 millimeter in my case. Yeah. So really, that's the application in the cloud itself. It's very easy to use, very intuitive. So we're not going to spend any more time on this. Just let me show you. This was the part with the layer stack up, and this is the part where you would find the documents. So along with the job data came this PDF report, which I defined especially for the needs of my customer, and I also include a stack-up image, a separate stack-up image in my system. I have this set up to work like this. Yeah. So documents and layers on the C8Inspect viewing application. Right, I think this is it for this first video. Do join us in the second video, where you will be seeing, now that we have uploaded this data, or this data is in the cloud, how do we now advise our end customer or our end user that there is something on the platform that he might be interested to view or to comment on or whatever. Okay, so hope to see you soon. It's bye for now. Bye.